Hello, and welcome to AnDev OnAir, the Android Developer Hangout. Today's topic will be Android app monetization. We'll be starting off with some monetization quick tips, followed by a panel discussion later. And we'll also be live tweeting under the hashtag AnDev OnAir. And be sure to stick around to the end for a special promo code for AnDevCon, the Android Developer Conference. So let's meet our speakers for today. We have Mike Hines.
Hello.
Mike has written mobile app test criteria, attended and judged hackathons, is a prolific blogger for Amazon, the App Store, and has represented Amazon at AnDevCon, South by Southwest, and other major events. We also have Beth Kindick.
Hey there.
Beth is the Senior Manager of Developer Relations at vserve.mobi, a leading ad exchange in emerging markets. She's developed an Android app and an iOS app and speaks frequently on developer advocacy topics such as monetization, user acquisition, and tools for increasing the marketability of apps. We also have Nathan Mellor.
Hello.
Hi. Nathan is an independent Android developer and the author of Android Apps for Profit. He is the CEO and chief developer at Critter Map Software LLC and maker of Backcountry Navigator. So we're going to start off with the quick tips, and let's go with Nathan's tip first.
Okay. Hi, everyone. And I've gotten a little bit of sun here, just recently climbing Mount St. Helens, but I'm glad to be back here for this conference. And I've just barely started having any apps on the market that use monetization and AdSense, and that make their money from ads and previously have paid apps and in-app purchases. But the tip I'd like to give today is to consider ad mediation. And there's a couple of reasons why you consider that. The obvious one is you want to test out and find out the best ad network for you. But even if you think you already know that, another good reason to have an ad network of mediation is to be able to fill all of your ad spaces. You'll find that a lot of the fill rates are a lot smaller than you think, especially in many other countries, and for full screen ads may be lower than 25% in many cases. And even over the best ad network in one country may not be the best ad network in another. Over time, you find that ad networks that pay off well at first don't pay off once you get higher volume of traffic. You may find that some ad networks go out of business and then don't pay the people, and you want to change those out really quick. So if you can do that without changing your code, releasing a new version of your app, and you can go on a server and turn it off for all your ads and change things out, that's much quicker. So that's my quick tip for today.
All right, next up is going to be Mike.
Hi there. Today I'd like to talk to you about optimizing in-app purchasing. One, you're going to make your users happier, and you're going to make more money. We were just talking before we went on air about one of my favorite TV shows, Game of Thrones. And, you know, I actually pay money so that I can see each episode. And if they stop delivering new episodes, yeah, I might save some money, but I'd be really disappointed. My guess is that we're kind of doing the same thing with our in-app purchasing. Think about it. If you've got a user who's been working in your app or playing in your app for 30 days and they've purchased 2 or 3 things, they love your app. But I'll bet you that you're showing them the same IAP items that you showed them when they were day 1 users and hadn't purchased anything. That's a problem. One of the things you'll find is that 64% of the revenue that the top 50 applications get, the top 50 successful ones get, come from the 3rd order or later. And a matter of fact, over 3/4 of your revenue you're going to get after the first 7 days. Over half of the revenue you'll get from users is going to happen after the first 30 days. So if you're not showing them IAP items that are customized for people who love it, you know, higher price points, additional levels, maybe more powerful items or entitlements. The bottom line is, I think you're leaving money on the table. So that's all good and well. Hey, I should show my long users different IAP items and my short-term users, but which ones? Well, the thing is, I don't want you to guess about that. I want you to know about that. And the way you can know about that is with A/B testing. A/B testing will let you add levers to your application so you can try a bunch of different offers for your longer-term users. And as a matter of fact, it's pretty easy. For those of you who are developers, I'll bet you that you've got a method in your code somewhere that calls an in-app purchase dialog and the related class associated with that. What I'd like you to do is just basically copy that method, paste it back in your code, and rename it, instead of initiate IAP dialog, say initiate VIP in-app purchase dialog for the people who have been with you for a while or spent money with you. Then what you can do is use the portal. Most A/B testing services have a dev portal that is really easy to use, where you can set up different variations, the control variation, which you see on screen, variation B and variation C. What you can do then is when it returns different variations, you run the second method that you've developed, and you offer several different mixes for these senior developers or senior users of yours. And what you get is actually pretty easy to understand, and you can take a look at some of the results I'm using an Amazon example here, but all of the portals that do A/B testing have pretty easy to understand results. One of the things that I'd like you to do is not just take a look at something like abandonment. For example, you might try changing your IAP to find out whether more people or fewer people abandon, but actually test several different things. So not only are you making more money, but are people abandoning more or less frequently? And you can take a look at these different goals to make sure that by improving one thing, you're not hurting a handful of other. Then when you know what bucket of IAP is going to work best for your long-term users, actually the Amazon portal will let you just click the switch button at the bottom, and you can convert all of your current users and all of your future users to that more effective IAP model. Now, the people who love your app are going to be looking at new in-app purchase dialogues, which is like a new episode of Game of Thrones. And you know what? I'm not stuck watching reruns, kind of like the IAP items that I saw at day 0. So guys, thank you very much. And if you like this data, I certainly hope that you'll come to AnDevCon and see more.
Thanks, Mike. All right, so now we're going to go and move on to Beth. So what's your quick tip?
Thanks, Michael. My quick tip is to look outside of North America. There are 7 billion people in the world. 6.5 billion live in another continent. And I think the biggest mistake with monetization is that people talk about the same 150 million users in the United States, and they talk about these users over and over again, monetizing just those users. Android developers have it really, really great because Android is preferred in 67 countries worldwide compared to iOS 34 countries. So when you think of monetizing, you really want to look outside of North America, and Android is very loved outside of North America. The geos which are likely to be the biggest to grow the fastest is Latin America, Middle East, and South Asia. So these are the regions that you want to take a look at. I do have a demo for the app wrapper that I can do after the Google Hangout.
Oh, okay. So we're going to take a short break to talk about AnDevCon. 1 second. Okay. AnDevCon is the Android Developer Conference. It's between May 27th and 30th in the heart of beautiful historical Boston. It will feature 4 days of total Android development immersion with 80+ tutorials and classes to choose from, with topics that range from embedded Android to Android development essentials. You could also visit us at AnDevCon.com for more information. So I wanted to give each of our speakers a few seconds to talk about their classes and themselves a little bit. So let's continue on with Beth.
Okay, great. I'll be presenting on deep linking, which allows developers to lower the conversion funnel. Right now, there aren't a lot of development tools which will allow you to market and bring the user closer to the point of sale. So you're basically bridging the gap between what the advertiser's goal is and what the user's goal is, and you, the developer, are able to bring those two together to boost ad revenue. We've seen a lot of announcements on this at F8, Facebook. They've announced app links. We're seeing Google supporting this method. So my class is basically going to teach you how to rely on the URL, the standardized URL backbone, and to bring the user horizontally across apps so you can monetize them more effectively. This will be the first time that deep linking has been presented at any conference, and you'll definitely want to be first to market on this, as there's a lot of open source initiatives around this practice right now.
Perfect. All right, so Nathan, if you'd like to step up.
Certainly. I will be talking about, first I'll be talking about apps for profit, the name of the class, since I've been an independent developer, talk to people about how they can make money on their own apps if that's their dream, but that class focuses on kind of competitive research, figuring out the cost of an idea, revenue potential of an idea, and which ones of your ideas, if you've got lots of app ideas, which ones could be potentially better than others. I'm also talking at app discovery optimization, which lots of people are excited about. Is just getting more people to find your app, and then hopefully they'll download it. And then analytics, I talk about there's a lot of great things to do with analytics. I'm sure that especially if you're doing some really fancy in-app purchase like Mike Hines mentions here, you want to track the results once people install your app, and for that you look at analytics and see, kind of compare the cost to install and revenue per install.
Great. All right, so we'll finish that out with Mike.
Great. Amazon has an Android app store with about 200,000 apps in it. And what we've done is we've taken a look at the top 50 most successful apps with in-app purchasing. And we're comparing what they've done to, well, honestly, what the rest of us do. I'm certainly not one of the top 50 developers there. So we're going to take a look at the data that we pulled from that and take a look at some of the differences in how they're approaching in-app purchasing differently and how they're doing app design differently to really maximize the revenue they get with in-app purchasing. I'll also be doing a fun lightning talk about excessively creative promotions for apps and web apps. That'll be pretty funny. So please come to AnDevCon in Boston and take a look at what we're doing.